Welcome back to the AgriShow with Kay.
And I'm Josh.
And first things first, we have a confession.
So I lied last week and received a strongly worded text from my father about the age and weight at which chickens are processed. If you remember last week, that was brought up in one of our discussions. So according to my esteemed dad, Cornish are processed at 28 days and they're 2+ pounds. Broilers at 6 weeks at 5 pounds, and roasters at 8 to 9 weeks. So sorry for lying to you all, and hopefully we won't have that same issue again this week.
Awesome. Well, this week is a little bit different. It is National FFA Week, and we have two officers from our DelVal FFA chapter here. So you ladies want to introduce yourselves?
Hello, everybody. I'm Emily White. I'm currently serving as our president this year.
I'm Allison Stolte, and I'm the vice president this year.
Awesome. What are your guys' majors, and what do you want to do with them?
Currently, I'm a horticulture major with specialization in commercial crop production. My hope is to take my knowledge back home and expand the family farm.
I'm also a horticulture major, but I don't have a specialization, and my plan is to do something with greenhouse work eventually.
Nice.
Awesome. Sounds fun. So any special classes, anything you hate, dislike, love about your courses this semester?
Or any semester.
Some of the classes are just a lot of repeats of each other, so you're learning a lot of the same material over and over again. Just kind of frustrating at times. You're like, I just learned this last semester, and here I am taking another test on it.
Yeah, but at least it's drilled into your head.
Yeah, I got it now, so it's all good.
Awesome.
You're both hort majors. So what's the difference between horticulture and crop science or any of the other plant sciences we have here on campus?
So crop science is based in your agronomic crops, so your corn, your anything grown on like a large scale. Horticulture is more your fruits and vegetables, kind of smaller scale. I mean, they do come in larger operations, but it's not such an agronomic crop. It's just kind of field, kind of garden work.
Okay,
like
now what's ornamental horticulture?
That has to do with your flower production, floral arrangement, and stuff like that.
Cool.
Interesting. Well, this week is National FFA Week, so being that you guys are from our FFA chapter on campus, tell us a little bit about what is FFA, why you joined, what really is National FFA Week, kind of all of the above.
So FFA Week is a way to celebrate FFA across the nation. All chapters across the United States come in and just do various activities to give back to their community, give back to the school, give back to whatever has helped them throughout their journey of FFA. FFA, if you guys don't know, it used to stand for Future Farmers of America. Back in 1988, they changed the name to National FFA Organization because only 2% of the people in FFA became farmers. So it was adjusted to include the broad range of agriculturalists in today's world.
So why did you guys join?
I joined because I'm actually a fourth-generation FFA member. It's tradition in my family. I pretty much was thrown into it my freshman year. I didn't really think I was going to be involved as I was. I was kind of, I'll do a fundraiser here, step in, go to a meeting, but I pretty much fell in love with it, and it's a big part of my life now.
And I honestly had no clue what it was until I was a freshman in high school, and my ag teacher tried to talk me into it for about 2 years, and I kind of just ignored her. And then eventually I started doing like fundraisers and stuff, and then I was like, oh, I'm not going to join, I'm just going to help out. And then my junior year I officially joined, and I don't regret it at all.
Awesome. So is this something that you join just in high school, or do some people join in middle school? Like at what's kind of the protocol, more or less?
I think it's more of a high school thing. Like 4-H is kind of more broader, I know. I never did it, but it's more like you grow up through it, and FFA is just something that you kind of take on as a leadership position in high school, and then you can go on to college and make a difference back into your high school career.
They actually do have some middle school chapters across the U.S. If a school, I know how it's broken in different states, different age groups, so some schools do have a middle school with their high school, so there is middle school FFA chapters. Just very few and far between, and they're more out west than anywhere where we are. And then, like she said, we have collegiate members after you graduate from high school and go through the 4 years. And then you also have an alumni, so after you graduate from college or either high school, you can join the alumni, whether you were or were not in FFA in high school. and just get back to them.
Okay. Now, could you guys explain your all's logo? Because I've heard a couple of different explanations. I just did realize that it was a cut in half piece of corn. I think last year or so. Could you explain the different parts and dynamics?
I don't even think I've realized I didn't notice that till you just said it.
To be honest, I thought it was a show ribbon. Like, hey, look, a show ribbon. But no, it's
yeah. I mean,
piece of corn cut in half. But yeah, could you explain all that to us?
So actually, the FFA logo has changed throughout the years quite a lot.
Okay.
You can see how it has agricultural education on it. It used to actually say vocational agriculture. So it used to be about going right into the workforce and those kind of skills, and now it's more about educating those skills as well as what agriculture is and how it affects everyday lives. Like you said, it is a cross-section of corn. So in FFA, each officer is stationed at a certain symbol. Corn is the secretary is stationed there to represent unity and correspondence between all 50 states. The owl symbolizes our advisor. Owls are kind of like the wisdom, the overall seeing, so they see everything. That's why the owl is that advisor. Plow symbolizes labor and tillage of the soil. So without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. And then we have the eagle to represent U.S., we're future farmers of America. The shield as well. And
the sun.
This rising sun is a token of a new era in agriculture. So it's about the progress agriculture is going to make and hopefully makes. We got a lot to do in the future.
And all these things get repeated during opening ceremonies for each meeting or whatever event, right?
Correct. So at every official FFA meeting or event, we have opening ceremonies, and each officer is stationed at their place, and they have a certain saying that they say along with why they're there and everything else.
Awesome. So what kind of things do you guys have planned for FFA week? I know we're already partway through the week, coming to the end of it. So I guess what did you do? Do you have anything planned for the rest of the week?
We just kind of did some activities with our collegiate chapter this week. On Monday we did
The banner.
We did a banner signing in our cafeteria here at DelVal, and we got a good amount of kids to sign it, and we still had a couple people not as much interested in agriculture as we would have hoped. And Tuesday night we had an official FFA meeting for our collegiate chapter here, so we just kind of got ice cream for them and had a chilled meeting. And then Wednesday we went and baked cookies in one of our dorm buildings, and today we handed them out to staff of the college. And
tonight we have a letter written up to thank farmers in our community, and we're pairing with our Collegiate Farm Bureau chapter here on campus, and we're going to hand them out to the farms in both Montgomery County and Bucks County, and just actually thank a farmer. You know, all of us say go thank a farmer, but how many people actually do it?
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Now, I've heard some rumors about what you guys are going to be doing with the banner. Can you tell us a little bit about the significance of the banner and what you're planning on doing with it?
So originally, we just kind of came up with this banner idea. I didn't know what we were going to do with it afterwards, and then Monday we kind of came up with this whole, why don't we send it to Harrisburg? And that kind of came about when, I think it was around Farm Show, and I think it's the governor of PA is taking money away from ag funding for Pennsylvania. So we're going to send it to him with a letter just kind of saying that we have a college here, we have kids that are supporting it, we're going to school for it, and we don't want it to go downhill because it is our future.
So that you guys really are putting it in his face and saying, yes. You're biting the hand that feeds you, and there is still a future in agriculture.
Yes.
No farms, no food, right?
Correct.
So what are your personal opinions on all of that? I mean, with the governor, now I know there's always the rumors going around campus that they're getting away from agriculture, even though we started out as the National Farm School. What are your all's, I guess, personal, outside of FFA, even personal opinions in what's going on in our society in the aspect of agriculture?
I know personally, when I went to high school or when I grew up kind of in the suburbs. It's not like complete suburb, but that's kind of what it is. And I honestly, when I grew up, I knew nothing about anything besides my grandpa raising steers. And then I had gardens, and that's all I knew about agriculture. And then when I got to high school, FFA opened up a whole new world, and I saw that I could, go study anything. I never knew you could go to college for any of that. I thought it was just something you grew up doing. You never could obtain the knowledge. So it was kind of cool for me. And when I came to tour DelVal, one of the biggest things that caught me was there was boots and stuff in the hallway, and just like so many kids like did so many things, and I don't know, it just opened my eyes to a different way of life, and I really love it here.
So I grew up in ag. When I was little, we farmed about 300 acres of hay crop.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not big, but it was big to me when I was 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was just like, I honestly never knew I wanted to be involved in agriculture until, honestly, I joined FFA. It kind of emphasized my love of ag and really told me and taught me what I want to do. When I was touring schools, I honestly had no idea what I wanted to major in, where I wanted to go. Even if I was going to go to college, I had no idea. But I toured DelVal, and I kind of fell in love with it and the fact that it was founded in agriculture. And it breaks my heart to see that, in a way, we're turning away from that. And it's kind of sad to see that, because people think it's a dying industry, but it's one of the growing industries. It's one that needs to grow and is growing. But I am just kind of in love with ag, and I really do hope that people kind of open their eyes to what it is all about. And
I hear you.
I agree with that.
Now, like you said, it is called, future, or was called, I guess, Future Farmers of America. Is there anything like this in other countries? An organization, aiming to, I guess, educate students about agriculture?
there are. I know there's actually an Future Farmers of Japan.
Okay, really?
There is. There are a couple other countries. I feel like Canada has something like it. A couple other countries over in Europe and Asia around them do. But I know definitely of the Japan one, just because I had a friend actually go over to Japan from Maryland. He was one of my friends through the FFA, and he actually got to spend a week or so with them. So
do they kind of do what we do in America with FFA?
Yeah, it's very similar to. Obviously,
Okay.
their agriculture is based in Japan's agriculture, which is a little bit different than American agriculture. But same basics,
Okay.
public education, agricultural education, stuff like that.
So Allie just mentioned something that she asked a question, do they do the same kind of things that we do in FFA? What kind of things do you do in FFA? Or what would, if, say, you were reaching out to a high school student, what would you tell them what to expect upon going into FFA?
So what I always tell everybody in FFA when they ask me what it is, it's a student-based organization that promotes premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. So take that how you will, but to me, it's a life-changing organization. When I joined FFA as a freshman, you would have never got me to sit here and talk to you guys, ever. In 1,000 years, I never would have seen myself being president of a collegiate chapter or running a leadership conference or anything like that. But you compete in various competitions relating to careers in agriculture. You learn public speaking. You meet great people, network. Some of my greatest friends I met through FFA. You really do. It's life-changing, and the jacket really does give back to you as long as you give to it.
It's kind of a bond, like you guys are in it together. You're going to wear the same jacket, especially with different activities you do. Even if you're individual, you're still going to have a support system behind you, especially your advisors.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who are our campus FFA advisors?
They're Thomas O'Connor and Craig Norcross.
Okay.
Correct.
And now, I know you sort of said they're overseeing the chapter, but what specifically does a FFA advisor do?
At the high school level, they're a really big mentor. At least mine were. They kind of influence, they kind of helped me, guide me through what I should do in high school and what I kind of wanted to do, my interests. And they also kind of, in FFA scheme, they help you fundraise and all this stuff, sort of like what we do at college with all of our clubs. We're involved, and they help you pull that off. It's more, in high school, they do more because it's, you're younger. And then when it comes into competitions and stuff, they will teach you, they'll give you all the knowledge they know, and then they'll just hope the best and let you go on your way.
Yeah, a lot of people see their advisors as a second parent. A lot of people have strong relationships with them. They look for them for guidance and advice, not only in FFA or agriculture, but just in life. They're pretty inspiring people. They take a lot of time out of their schedule, not just when they're in the classroom and teaching, but outside, after school, taking kids on FFA trips, taking them anywhere and everywhere they need to go, and spending time at home, sorting fundraisers and getting ready for competitions and coaching. And it's a really inspiring position that they have.
Yeah, I know for me personally, having been in FFA, when I was there, we kind of had to set we were kind of categorized based on where do we see ourselves going. And for me, it was either ag education or agricultural communications. And you do that when you're placing your SAEs, which are supervised agriculture experience, right? So I knew I wanted to go into ag communications or ag education, and they really, really pushed me on reaching outside my boundaries. I would say I was a decent public speaker back in high school, but looking in hindsight, I definitely needed help and needed improvement in a lot of different areas, and they really pushed me for that. I also do a lot of work with aquaponics, which is growing plants with the use of fish wastewater, and my advisors were phenomenal in pushing me to, you know what, if nobody believes in you, we believe in you, and this is your time for personal growth and all these different things that FFA really supports. So your advisors can be your biggest advocates.
I gotcha.
I have a personal thing with that too. My one advisor, she was very into veterinary science and horticulture, two different things. And I competed in both those competitions. And just my senior year of high school, she pushed me into a veterinary internship. And she was like, you're going to do great and all this stuff. And I competed nationally in hort and vet science. And then I just straight up changed to hort. But it was just like two things that she pushed me to learn. Like, I don't know how many times I sat in her office after school to learn plant diseases, or like practice how to like give a dog a shot. Like,
Yeah.
How do you compete in vet science and horticulture? What's that consist of?
So vet science, you have like identification of tools, different parasites, different medication. I don't think we have medications. Different breeds of animals, like dogs to cows. So I used to know a lot of that, and then. You do like a retin test, which has like math and like which you give prescriptions and all that stuff and just general knowledge. And then there's a different section where it's like practicum. So you kind of they give you different supplies like how to put a muzzle on a dog. There's different steps you have to follow. It's a big manual.
Yeah.
And the same for like Emily competed in floriculture. So do you want to explain some?
I actually competed in 9 different CDEs through my high school career, so I've been a little bit around the whole CDE life. So floriculture and like any of your plant-based ones, you have a lot of plant identification. So knowing your different plants, whether it's landscape plants, floriculture plants. There's an agronomy CDE. You have to know plants by their seed, by their seedling, by their full-grown plant. There's a lot of tool identification. There's different types of shovels. Who knew how many different types of shovels there are in the world? But there are plenty of them. And then you always have a general basic knowledge exam, which kind of goes over the whole basis of the industry. It can be pretty much any fact pulled from the industry. And then in agronomy, you do hay judging. Floriculture, you have to make floral arrangements and be able to price them out and make a bill, handle customer complaints, anything like that. It's a very broad spectrum of each industry, and it just kind of helps you not only learn the industry, but learn what you want to do. It's kind of how I found out what I wanted to do, was through CDEs.
So if I'm understanding this right, there is pretty much a competition or CDE for anything you want to go in.
Pretty much. If it's in the ag industry,
to it.
Yes.
FFA has got you.
I gotcha.
I've competed anywhere from like ag mechanics to public speaking
To dairy science.
dairy valuation, landscaping, floriculture.
All right, now what's the difference? I know 4-H also does a lot of competitions like this. What's the difference between 4-H or FFA? Or I know here on campus we have 2 ag-related Greek life, Sigma Alpha and Alpha Gamma Rho. Both of them kind of help you a lot with your connections and your different networking. So what sets FFA apart? Is it similar to 4-H, just more of an academic-centered 4-H, or what? Yeah, how does all that work?
So 4-H and FFA are very similar in their foundations. They're about growing leaders. FFA is public school based, so you have to be part of a public school to be a part of it. 4-H is community based. It's ran by the community for the community. 4-H also has a little bit broader of a canopy that it kind of covers. So not just agricultural falls under 4-H. You can do anything from like entering stuff in building expositions where you're crafting, you're collecting bugs and showing them, photography, stuff like that, where FFA is solely based on agriculture, and it's pretty much its focus.
Gotcha.
So what happens after these competitions? What happens once you get first or second? Or I kind of want to just dig a little more into that. How do you prepare for them? How do you, like you mentioned, a leadership conference? How does that help in the FFA scheme? So I guess we'll start with the first question. What happens once you get first place, second place, third place, whatever it may be in a competition? Is that the end of the line, or?
So it varies from which state you come from, actually, what happens next. In the larger states, you have to go through a regional, a district, and then a state to get to nationals. In my state where I come from, you just have to win at states most of the time. So when I competed in floriculture, my team was first in the state, and I placed first as individual in the state. So we got to represent Maryland at the national level, and then went and competed against the top of the top. So it kind of varies with state. Pennsylvania, they're bigger than Maryland, so it's broken down a little bit more. You have to get through a regional and then a district, and then you go to states, and then once you win states, you go on to nationals. So it just depends from where you're from.
Awesome.
And then to answer your question of how you prepare, the National FFA site, or maybe even state level, they have kind of manuals or guidelines of each competition. I mean, if you're first time going into a competition, you're not going to know what to expect unless your advisor or someone else kind of told you. So it just kind of still varies on the different competitions. Like food science ones, you have to be able to identify different things than you would have to do in like vet science, where you'd have to, do practicals and not like identify milk deficiencies or something. So it's kind of like a basis of the different contests on what the manual is going to tell you.
So, this Saturday, you are hosting a leadership conference for FFA members, and it's put on by the collegiate chapter. How is that going to, what kind of things are you going to focus on helping the students that are coming?
So everybody that's coming was asked to pick a specific CD that they are interested in, and we have selected 7 members of our collegiate FFA to host a workshop based on that CDE to help them, give them practice, understand what the CDE is about, just give them a little bit more of kind of what to expect when they go to a state competition. So what we're doing is we're hosting workshops in the morning based on CDEs, and then in the evening we're actually having the Maryland State FFA officers come up, and they are doing leadership workshops on them. So stuff about how to run a meeting, women in agriculture, and stuff like that, using social media to promote us. And
so this isn't a competition, it's more of just a learning the ropes of the whole competition.
Mm-hmm. It's like a way for us to give back.
It's kind of what collegiate FFA is about.
So now, I know you kind of said there's an FFA alumni status. What does that pertain to, or is it like once you graduate from collegiate FFA, you then become an advisor? Or how does FFA play into it after I guess graduation from high school or college, or is it just kind of hey, that was a great time, I learned a lot, now I move on and into the world?
So actually, National FFA is having a special program that's going on right now. That once you graduate high school, you're considered an associate alumni member for 5 years, I do believe. And that means you don't have to pay your dues, but you can still be an alumni member. Just means you can't vote in an official meeting because you're not a dues-paying member. But alumni is open to any and everyone, so it's not necessarily, you didn't have to wear the blue jacket to be an FFA member, to be an alumni FFA member. It's really just a way to kind of give back and help the students that are going through it now. I know with my alumni, we are anywhere from coaches to helping fundraise to just stepping in and giving a hand at a meeting, anything and everything. The alumni is always there, just kind of that backup support.
Okay. You got anything, Allie?
I do not.
No comment.
And now, how has FFA specifically helped you in college? I know you said it's really gotten you out of your shell and it's really pushed you to take on more leadership roles. But I guess you've learned a lot through it anyway. But other than those things, has it done anything to better equip you for the real world or for college specifically?
I know for me, another thing for me coming to DelVal, I was in our MUMGIS when I was here for, I want to say like an open house, and I saw a collegiate FFA on a banner. And that was like my senior high school. I was involved with like national competitions and all this stuff. And I was like, I really want to go here. And my parents didn't understand that. They're not the biggest. They don't know that much about FFA, but they were like, okay, I mean, if you want to go here, that's you. Like whatever, we'll support you no matter what. And so I kind of came here, and I was just kind of expecting to do FFA, you know, go to class. And Emily and I happened to be roommates. And so we ended up just kind of branching out. FFA was our first thing in college that we kind of branched out into, got involved with, and now we're in so many other different things too. But FFA is still like one of our main focuses just because we want to give back so much to something that kind of brought us up in high school.
For me, I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't thank FFA for whatever it's done for me while I'm here. It's taught me how to build relationships and network. It's taught me pretty much everything of getting out of your comfort zone. I know I can sit in a classroom and I'll be taking notes on something and I'll be like, oh, I don't need to take notes on this. I learned this in FFA. Like, oh, this was in the agronomy CDE. I got this. Like, it's just so amazing how much FFA prepared me for college and life after college while just being a high schooler and not even knowing what I want to do in life.
And what are you hoping to see the future of FFA become? Like, again, you said, so we're going through the history. It was Future Farmers of America and then became FFA?
National FFA organization.
National FFA organization. What are you hoping to see the future of FFA become now?
That's a loaded question. Honestly, I hope to see it grow, and I hope for people to actually realize what it is. I know I was an AP student in high school, and I would wear my official dress, which is a dress we have to wear in any official event. It's very professional looking. And I would wear it in my class because I had a meeting after school, or I had to go to this event, or I came from this event. And the looks I got, like, wow, she wants to be a farmer and she's in an AP class. Like, why is she here? Like, she doesn't belong here. Like, you're not smart enough to be in this class. And, like, for them to think that and for them to say that to me was kind of ridiculous. And I really hope that in the future people realize that it's not just about farming. Agriculture isn't just about farming. FFA isn't about just farming. It's about having faith in an industry that feeds you, that feeds the world. And really, it's about building leaders of agriculture. And I really just hope to change public opinion of what it's about.
Just the stereotypical, like, farmer isn't agriculture anymore. There's so many different other aspects of it, and people just don't realize that a lot of the time.
Yeah. I hope Harry listens to this podcast then.
Yeah.
He likes
Larry Lankai.
like bringing up the stereotypical farmer. But, Kay, do you have any other questions?
I guess my last question is, you both kind of stated it, is what's your last hurrah? Like, what do you want on this podcast for people to know, whether it's about FFA, about DelVal, about our collegiate chapter here, agriculture in general, your personal deep dark secrets, anything. What do you want kind of your punchline to be? What kind of mark do you want to leave on campus? Something along those lines.
I kind of want to just leave a mark that you should just do what you want. And, like, no, if it's not FFA, if it's not FFA, get involved with the club. Make it the greatest you can. Like, make your name known, like, 3 years after you graduate. Like, a freshman, like, knows you, and they don't know you. But they've heard you, they just want to make an impact like you did. Just something like that. That's kind of what I would say.
I would just say, we all say about being leaders, and honestly, we are leaders. Leadership isn't technically about getting in front of a person and public speaking to a group of 1,000. It's not about anything like that. It's about impacting lives and helping people become better people. And a lot of you do that, and you guys don't necessarily know that you're doing that. So just keep that in mind and build on it.
Cool
Awesome. Stuff. Great advice. No, really, it is. It's always something to think about. Those are all my questions.
That's all I got for you guys.
Awesome. Well, that is us wrapping it up. Thank you guys for coming. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
And to all our listeners, thank you for listening to this week of AgriShow. Next week it'll be just myself and some poor stranger. Kay's going somewhere. I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm actually going to judge an FFA competition and judging public speaking. So fit kidding. But
Yeah, feel
that's
free to
it.
tune in next week, same time, same place, and thank you all for listening.
And don't forget to send us your feedback on Facebook and Twitter and email us. So.
And check out our YouTube account.
Yeah, definitely check out our YouTube account.
Whatever else Harrison's put us up on.
Yeah, our goal is to get top listeners, so make sure you share our YouTube channel and everything on your social media. Awesome. That's a wrap.
Sounds good.